Hello, and welcome to a presentation about community emergency response teams. My name is Brian Lindblom, and I'll be narrating for you. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and I've been active in CERT programs for a number of years. CERT was developed in 1985 by the Los Angeles Fire Department to train and organize citizens to be on their own and to help others in the early stages of a disaster. They created this program because following major earthquakes in Mexico and Japan, a high number of citizens were killed trying to save others because they lacked knowledge of dangers, response skills, and protective equipment. Training for CERT consists of 25 hours and is a standardized, nationalized FEMA curriculum. In California, CERT is administered by the California Office of Emergency Services, and each local program is sponsored by cities' fire departments, colleges, or tribal entities. Today, there are over 600,000 CERTs nationwide and over 2,700 CERT programs across the country. CERT also exists in countries outside of the United States. In California, CERTs are registered as disaster service workers. So what's the purpose of CERT? The big purpose is that CERT frees professional responders to focus on more complex and essential technical tasks. CERT trains the public in advance of disasters to promote individual preparedness and survival skills. It also helps their neighbors and communities effectively and safely to stay out of danger and out of the way of responders. Finally, we assist responders as requested or as needed. Who manages CERT? Programs are city-sponsored and directed by police and fire departments. In Contra, Costa County, you can see from this chart the agencies that have CERT in the law enforcement and the fire agencies that have CERT attached to them. What kind of training do CERTs receive? They have 25 hours of training. Some is classroom and some is hands-on, and that training covers disaster preparedness, the CERT organization structure, which is also included in the incident command system. We cover auxiliary communications, including GMRS and ham radio, both voice and digital, which enables an effective countywide communications network following a disaster, when power, internet, or cell phone services may be interrupted or overwhelmed. We have a section on disaster medical operations and first aid, disaster psychology. We also cover basic fire safety and utility control with a discussion about hazardous materials, light search and rescue, damage assessment, and we talk about terrorism and active shooter public support.
In California, when natural disasters strike, a group of everyday heroes emerges to lend a helping hand. These individuals make up Community Emergency Response Teams, or CERT, working hand in hand with first responders. Cal OES works throughout the state to build these networks of volunteers who undergo rigorous training, equipping themselves with the necessary skills to assist during emergencies.
We train them how to take care of their neighbors, how to be the boots on the ground, reporting intelligence back to the emergency agencies, how to speak properly to first responders on radio communications, because the issue is, in a regional emergency, there are never enough first responders to take care of everyone. So what we do is we are the help until the help arrives.
As California's lead emergency management agency, Cal OES supports CERT programs throughout the state, coordinating with first responders and CERT programs to help keep communities safe.
Cal OES supports CERT programs throughout the state by providing grant opportunities for training, equipment, and supplies, as well as scholarships to attend trainings and conferences throughout the state. Cal OES also provides technical assistance to CERT program leaders to help them meet federal and state guidelines.
During large-scale emergencies, CERT volunteers work alongside first responders. Their local knowledge, accessibility, and commitment to their communities makes them invaluable assets. Together, they form a network of support that strengthens California's ability to respond to and recover from disasters.
I think they're better prepared to help their family, their home, their neighborhood, and so anyone who comes through our program is a force multiplier in their neighborhood, and we're very proud of that. We feel that as many prepared homes as we can have, the better off and the more resilient our community will be after a disaster.
The Irvine Police Department's CERT program has over 3,000 graduates who are now prepared to protect themselves and their communities when called upon.
A lot of people don't know what to do. A lot of people are really thinking that the first responders are going to come to them and knock on their door. And they know that we say, you should be prepared to last on your own for 3 to 7 days. But I think CERT really brings that concept to life. And I think it gives them those hard skills that teach them how to organize.
When the CZU complex fires ignited during the August 2020 lightning siege, the Coast Side Fire Protection District CERT program was one of the first organizations to respond, working alongside first responders.
We set up a DOC, a Department Operations Center. We were the referral point for people evacuating who needed shelter or food or places for their animals or some form of health care. And we did that for 4 days and 4 nights.
The contributions of local CERT programs help bolster emergency response across the state, so when disaster strikes in California, no one faces it alone. To see more from us, visit our website, news.caloes.ca.gov, and follow us on all our social media platforms.
So is there an advantage to trained volunteers? Well, certainly there is. First, CERTs don't mobilize unless they're activated by their sponsor. They are state-registered disaster service workers, which provides some protection from liability and financial burden if they are injured. CERTs follow the incident command structure. They don't go rogue and get in the way of professional responders. They understand their role and where they fit in the structure. As was mentioned before, FEMA training is comprehensive for non-professionals and consistent nationwide, so CERTs from a variety of jurisdictions can be utilized and will work together effectively. In addition, CERTs are trained in supplemental disaster response skills such as traffic control, crowd management, shelter setup and operations, and auxiliary communications. How have CERTs been used? In a number of different ways. They've been used for missing persons searches, evacuation support, and other types of emergency response drills. They do a lot of public information dissemination on preparedness. They've been used in disaster-related medical response, such as with COVID, vaccination clinics. They perform damage assessment for city public works, particularly in following floods. They've supported volunteer intake and management at shelters. We assist with traffic and perimeter control, and we've been used to manage unsolicited donations at disaster sites. How can you identify CERT? Typically, you can identify them with their CERT logo, green or yellow vest. They may also be wearing a green hard hat, carrying a green backpack, and in some cases, their sponsoring agencies or organizations will issue an identification card. So how can you activate local CERTs? By contacting their local sponsor and requesting mutual aid. We hope this presentation has been informative on how to use CERT in a disaster or an emergency situation, and we thank you for your time.